Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Paranormal Musings podcast. It's me, T Paranormal, and my friends. We got Cordell and Rich. Um, got
What's
a special
up?
episode for you that we want to talk about a few places um, in the United States, and I don't know what they're going to talk about. Maybe the world, but I'm going to sit back for a little bit before I bring one of my places up. And who wants to go first?
I'll let Rich go first.
Oh, you gotta pick me first. All right. Well, since I just
That
went
was
to the
that
what?
was gold. That was
Yeah,
gold.
yes, that was awesome. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to talk about the Indian River County Jail. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I'm going to talk about the jail I was just at. Actually, St. Augustine Old Jail, just because we were there. A lot of stuff going on there. So that place has a lot of history. And when we were there this weekend, it just happened that it was the death anniversary of 8 of the inmates that were hung from the tree out back, actually.
Wow,
So we,
cool.
yeah. So I don't know what your guys' take on something like that is as far as, the paranormal side of things on certain dates of the anniversary of the deaths. Do you guys, and I'll ask you this, do you guys believe that it would enhance the chance of us communicating with somebody like that? You know what I mean? On that certain day. What are your thoughts?
I believe it could go both ways. I mean, I think some of the spirits would probably relive it, possibly every day or a few days. And then, I mean, I couldn't put it past that the day that it happened, there
Yeah.
wouldn't be more activity. I, 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 I I couldn't sit here and say no because I don't know one,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
there's probably a strong possibility because I mean that was a pretty immense day for them, the last day of their lives.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I
So
mean,
I would say a very, very strong maybe
yeah.
would be
Yeah.
my
I think
thing.
it,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it would have to correlate with what they were hung for. Like,
Yeah.
was it a severe crime or was it something minuscule? But I feel like if it was like a really bad crime and they're being hung for it, I mean, on the day of their death, I feel like, yeah, they would still be reliving it, even though they've been reliving it since the day that they perished.
Yeah. Yeah.
How about if I mean even if they were like being hung,
Yeah.
you're not
Yeah,
you're not dying from the rope immediately.
no.
Right. Right.
Well,
They're still
if
alive
that,
and they're pissing and crapping
well,
themselves. Like
well, that's
I'm
funny you
suffered for a
mention that
while.
because what he's talking about the jail in St. Augustine. There's actually what did they say he hung for 14 minutes?
Yes. 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 So yeah, one of them,
Yeah,
something about he hung. One of them they hung, and if I'm not mistaken, yeah, he didn't die for a very long
And
while being up on there. So
I think there's accounts of people hanging longer in the country
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
because you're hoping that it breaks your neck, I guess, and you
yeah.
yeah,
and then
You're
sometimes
really hoping that your body weight comes down with the rope and
yeah,
it
yeah.
snaps your
you have
neck quickly.
Well,
you have somebody who doesn't know how to tie knots, and then you're just hanging there too.
uh, yeah, yeah. These, and it's funny too because you think about these things. So like back then in a jail like that, today we have the electric chair and lethal injection and all that stuff. And that was their form of capital punishment or what have you. And Cody and I were in one of the cells doing an Estes method with this other guy Eric, and Cody actually made a pretty valid point because when I was under in the Estes method, I kept hearing somebody taking like a deep breath, like a like, and I heard it like twice, and and if you watch it, you can see the video. I clearly stated that I heard it, and then Cody says, hey, that's what happens when you're hung. You're
Yes,
gasping for air. And
Yeah,
I didn't think about it at the time, but until I heard him say that, I was like, oh man, he's right. Maybe that was somebody that was hanging there from those
could
trees
be,
or inside that
that's
jail.
that's
could
crazy.
be. And
Yeah,
how many people that were in the cells hung themselves?
Well, that's exactly it too.
Well, that's unknown actually. I don't know if you know, but all the records for that jail
Mm-hmm.
were mysteriously set ablaze. So
Yes.
nobody knows
Yeah.
anything.
Nobody knows anything about it. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. And so and another thing about those jails too, man, is like back then, the the sheriffs lived there with their families. So you're
Yep.
housing your family around all these these inmates and what have you. So I mean that just creates a whole nother environment.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and
Every old jail I've seen, like on whatever YouTube or whatever, it always seems that the family lived there, which to me today is wild. But back then
yes,
it was like a normal. It was a normal
the
thing
normal thing to do. Yeah,
to
correct.
do. But
The
nowadays
family,
it's like, how could you live if you, especially if you had kids? It's like
Mm,
the
yeah,
kids were there, but that's what it was back then. I can't say they were crazy or anything because that's how they lived. So
that
yeah.
was exactly it. It just blows my mind, man.
yeah, yeah.
It's probably more like a learning lesson for jails nowadays.
Yeah, yeah.
Because remember they used to have to cook the inmates breakfast and every other meal by
Hmm.
themselves.
Yeah, yeah. It's just it amazes me about that stuff. But that jail, there's just a lot of history around that jail, and I've been there twice, and I've gotten some pretty good evidence out of there. Um, so I'm really looking forward to the 21st, and we're going to the Baker County Jail.
They lived
Um,
there too.
they,
The sheriff or whatever he was, the ward, whatever, they also lived there.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I heard. I heard.
Yeah.
I actually read that. Yeah, I did read that. But
yeah,
I think just jails in general, it houses a lot of, I guess, emotion from these inmates. You know what I mean? Whether it be negative or sadness. For the most part. And I don't think you would. You would think anyways that you wouldn't get a positive emotion out of a jail,
yeah,
Yeah, maybe for a rehab, person or something, but just all of that stuff that went on in those jails, man. And
Even if you didn't get violence, if there was no violence against you personally,
mm-hmm.
it's a sad place. You're hearing violence, you're seeing violence, so you're still experiencing violence.
the
Yeah,
conditions are just
Depending
awful.
on how long you're in there, you could be a lifer, and then that's it, man. That
yeah.
is it.
Well,
Yeah,
that's why they closed that jail down, man, because the conditions in the jail were too inhumane. They said so. Close that down.
cruel and unusual punishments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
But just being in those jail cells, there's four bunks in one cell. You know what I mean? So four people were in that one cell,
yeah,
and
And
I just
Cordell touched on something earlier about depending on what you were in jail for. You went to jail for a number of different things,
mm,
and
yeah,
we look at it now and be like, okay, yeah, you may go to jail for this, but you're spending how much time there? Like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, exactly, yeah,
yeah,
we give them days, and then
yeah,
you go out in the community and do some work. But some of
yeah,
the stuff back then, man, you were there.
mm-hmm,
yeah. You are stuck behind bars for a long, long time.
yeah.
Yeah, I
And
would say.
I tried to get him to answer how was the food there, because we all know the thing about jail food, right?
According to the sheriff, is to die for.
Yeah, ha ha. By hanging, nonetheless.
Yeah.
Oh no, I
What's
heard
your,
that
what's your last meal?
the sheriff at the old jail was poisoned.
Was he? Yeah,
Yeah,
didn't quite get the story on that. But you're talking about Sheriff Perry.
yeah. I heard
Yeah,
it. Fran was saying that he was poisoned,
yeah.
supposedly.
Did you know that guy was almost 7 foot tall, Sheriff Perry?
Yeah,
Isn't that crazy, man?
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
Tall dude,
Big
Yeah,
boy.
almost 7 foot tall, 350 pounds.
350 pounds. Yes, yeah,
Oh,
It's a
he is an imposing individual.
yeah,
yes.
yeah,
That statue sitting outside scared the shit out of us, and then the
huh,
statue in the jail.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Wow. That's wild.
yeah.
yeah,
So no, I really like that jail, man. I'm glad it's there. hats off to those people that are running it, you know, and doing those tours. And you know, there's a lot of stuff you can learn, you know, from going there. So, that's it, man. That's all I have. Like I said, I am looking forward to Baker County though, man, because it's you know, it's gonna be some fun.
Yes.
So,
Yes. I gotta. We were talking about it yesterday, actually, but I gotta get my damn room because the longer I wait, you know, the price is gonna go up, and I don't want to
mhm.
live in filth.
Yeah, yes.
I want a good room for the night. So I gotta get my room, and
Yeah, I
what
think I'll
town
be.
is it in? What
It's
town
in
is it in?
McClenny.
That okay,
Yeah,
cool.
McClenny. Yeah, which
I
is, I
got the right
believe it's.
place.
I think it's on the outskirts of Jacksonville, just off of I-10,
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken, is what my buddy told me. So,
I was looking it up, and then I think it was giving me at first a jail or a prison that's active.
yeah.
And I was like, that doesn't sound right. And then it said it was McClinney or whatever for the actual place. And I was like, okay, I forgot to ask
Mhm.
you, but now I know I got the right place. So
Yeah, yeah.
cool.
Yes, sir. Have
Yeah.
you heard anything about the activity there at all? Or because I haven't done any much research.
Yeah. So I watched a group. The information that I have on the place is from watching the group video.
Okay.
And at the time this group was doing it, the spiral staircase upstairs was closed because they had to fix some stuff so you know people don't fall through the floor or whatever. But I saw another video where it's since been opened. I think they used to house the inmates, some of the inmates up there. Then they moved them down, which I don't remember if they built onto it. But if you look at that place, you look at a picture straight ahead, it looks like any other old jail, you know,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
box building. And then they did a side picture. The place is massive. There's like other like it's like a
Yeah.
T. It's like a
That
T,
that area is huge.
they from what I was seeing, you know, people, you know, what they were talking about, you get stuff there. Um, I can't really remember exactly what they were getting, but they said it's active.
Yeah.
Um, I'm definitely bringing my drone because I want to, you know, I want to get some
Aerials.
footage, record some footage from above, you
Mm-hmm.
know, get that going. And yeah, it looks like a. I don't know how much we're allowed in, but it was definitely a lot bigger than what I thought it was for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I got the same, you know, vibe on that. I looked at it
yeah,
and I was like,
yeah,
whoa, that's a big spot,
yeah,
man.
Yeah.
yeah,
Look.
Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to that. Um, it'll be my second jail.
Second deal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
second jail done, and definitely a lot bigger than the last one. Hopefully, as active.
Ah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Terry and
but,
I are jail police.
but yeah,
Yeah.
it should be cool. It should be cool. I think it'll be cool.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome.
I've
Yeah.
never been there, so that right there, it's cool to me anyway because I've never been there. So
And then you guys can come back and tell us all about it.
Yeah.
well, definitely
Yeah. Are
may
you
have
not go? You not
may
coming,
have
man?
some footage.
I gotta see what I'm doing.
All right. Okay.
It's
10
like
4.
what? 70
Well,
bucks, right?
I'm
Yeah.
I'm
Some.
thinking of. I think we touched on it a little bit, Rich. We were talking, but I'm thinking at some point I want to go live.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
the show,
Let's do it.
and then
Absolutely.
you go live for your team,
Mm-hmm.
or vice versa. It doesn't matter who goes first.
Yeah.
But,
Okay.
maybe get some lives in there. I know I definitely want to do some. You know, I'm not talking about an all nighter, but
No, it's like 30
a little
minutes.
bit of live. You know, so people can see. You know, hey, this is what I'm. You know, we're here, and then don't give them too much. You know, and then
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah, I'm all about coming. You know, I'm not one of those that hoards crap. You know, like
It's good to
Yeah.
share spots. Let everybody get a little.
everybody. This is what I found here. What did you find there? You know, I'm one of those.
Exactly. Oh yeah, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Preacher,
I'm one of
brother.
those.
I love watching footage, man. Footage of anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
My
I
favorite
came
thing
here
to
and
do.
didn't find anything, but if you watch this video, maybe you see something I didn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I share, man. Community. Share it.
That's it.
Unity.
Yeah.
Para-unity.
I've seen a few people this past couple days posting stuff like so some of the I don't like calling them followers. I call them friends, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
four
Yeah.
400 and some friends we have of the page.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of them um sharing stuff, and so I
yeah,
put something out there. I think you guys saw it where I was like, "Hey, you want to share some stuff?" Blah blah blah, and got an answer, at least one answer back, and it was cool. And I got to learn about a place that the last hurricanes we had last year demolished it, but apparently
yeah,
the little girl spirit stuff. Well, we won't know that if we don't talk about it.
yeah.
So
You never have answers to anything if you don't talk about
yeah,
it.
and a lot of people I've found, friends of the page, they all talk about stuff. So
Yeah, everyone's got a story
I
to
think
share, and I think that's awesome.
yeah, I think that's good. We all we all share and share
Yeah,
experiences and all that. Which hey, I'm all for it, man.
Yeah. Me
yeah,
too, buddy. Me too.
yeah,
Love it. But so yeah, so I was also reading a little bit, a little bit more about the Saint Augustine jail as well. There were some reports of some man that was housed there claiming to be Billy the Kid. However, there's no
physical
record of
proof.
him being there, sort of thing, which would be pretty cool if he was. Billy the Kid was a big,
That's a
Old
big
Billy.
Western legend.
yeah, real, yeah, big legend, man. So
Yeah,
was I would imagine that the tour guides would have mentioned something about it, but I
yeah,
don't think
Yeah,
it. Yeah, yeah. I think just jails in general, man. That are
oh,
a good place to investigate, man.
I think jails
yeah,
are one of the best spots to
Yeah,
investigate because of
yeah.
how much power they hold within.
That's it, man. There's just so much, so much, proverbial shit that went on in there, between the
Yeah,
inmates and all that, man. It's just
yeah,
a lot of.
I think it really has something to do with the fact of the blood that stains the land.
That's exactly it.
That's
Hmm.
why you get activity.
Yeah, yeah,
and the families that lived there. I mean, they lived through that.
Exactly, and and I'm pretty
So,
sure they're
so
bonded to it.
I know some places people talk about the spirits of the family there. They lived through some trauma there when they were there. So they could be stuck,
hmm
and dealt with stuff. You maybe have some members, some families at some places
Yeah, I
treat it.
remember at a jail we went to, we were talking to the daughter of the warden.
yeah,
That shit's scary.
yeah, yeah. That shit's cool. That's what we live for.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's scary as a child because you don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, yeah. Terry, you there, buddy?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
can't see me.
No, I can see you. I couldn't hear you for a second.
No, where Terry? Where'd you go?
No, I was listening to him.
Oh, okay. But yeah, man. So maybe we gotta set up like a jail tour, and do like just multiple jails in like a few months or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mm.
that'd be cool.
jails are cool unless you're assigned to them in some capacity.
Yeah.
Hey, one time. It was one time. I'm just kidding.
I will not confirm or deny if I've been in anything in my lifetime.
Yeah. No, me neither, buddy. Me neither.
I don't know. Terry, I can't guess with you. Rich, you wouldn't last in prison. You got soft skin.
No, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Hey, I'll be the first one to admit it. Yep, I wouldn't last in prison, pal. Yep.
Just beat up the biggest guy there.
I would have to. I have to just walk up to somebody and just punch them. I don't know.
Uh,
And then run.
man.
I'd say I would last in prison, man, because that would suck, man. I cried like a baby. I
Yeah.
don't want to be in there.
Yeah.
If we're talking about haunted prisons and jails,
Yeah.
let's bring up the most famous one of them all, Alcatraz.
Hey, he said the A word.
Yeah,
There it
well,
is.
might be going away. Might be going away.
Yeah,
Doubt
saw
it.
that.
that is a big doubt.
Yeah, I don't think it's
Let,
gonna go away,
let,
but
let's
it just,
touch on
we
that
didn't think a
though.
lot of stuff was gonna happen nowadays, and it's happened. So I'm just
Off the
sitting back watching.
record, it's stupid. I'm not even gonna go into it. I'm not gonna give it a thought because it's the dumbest thing I've ever
I shouldn't
heard.
say it goes away. It may be open again. That's what I'm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or-
Well, when you think of
I don't think it'll happen. I don't think it'll happen. It's too much money to keep that. I don't think it'll happen. But
oh yeah, no, dude, that place is crumbling. Like, oh my
yeah,
god, they would
I'd
have to
rather
spend
keep it as a spot that people can visit. You know.
that's gonna cost billions just to even try,
Yeah.
and it's not even worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. I
But
don't think it's
yeah,
worth it.
like I'm saying, when you guys think of haunted jails, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
That's
Alcatraz.
Alcatraz, absolutely.
Jail or
Like,
prison? So prison, I think of Alcatraz. Jail, I think of other stuff.
yeah,
'Cause
you
there are
mentioned
different. There are differences.
yeah. Well, when you think of
But
Alcatraz, you think of all the high-profile people who were there,
Yeah,
especially Al Capone.
Al Capone.
and then
Yeah.
they maybe got away. Those few folks.
Yeah, no, you know damn well all those guys died in the bay. There's
Yeah,
no way.
that
You know
water is
what?
too cold,
I
man. Too cold.
I lived in the Bay for 2 years, and I always thought there was no way. But every year, people swim it to
Well,
Alcatraz. Like they
it
swim
was
it. So I'm like, I don't think they did it all by themselves because there's no freaking way at night. Anyway, at
yeah,
night,
and it
I
wasn't it
think
raining that night too, like a really bad storm.
I don't know, but I have a feeling some of them didn't make it, but I think somebody on the outside, which usually what happens,
Helped him out.
was
Yeah,
was helping. You had an inside person or persons, and then you had outside people.
I
And
know that
I
was on
wouldn't
an
put it
episode
past
of
some of them.
Unsolved Mysteries
Yeah.
talking
I wouldn't
about
put it
that
past.
actually.
I wouldn't put it past somebody making it and then disappearing.
Yeah, but
There's a story of it's who knows if it's true or not, but some of them made it, and then he had them. One of the main guys had the other ones killed off so they wouldn't talk.
Hmm.
that
There's
sounds
that
about
story
right.
too, but who knows if it's true? You know,
That
it's
sounds
all
like a,
theory.
a Hollywood movie.
Yeah, it's all theory. So who
Yeah,
knows?
Yeah.
we weren't there, we don't know,
No.
Yeah,
No.
but yeah, it's its history is pretty dark. It's got A+ celebrities who have been incarcerated, like like I said, Al Capone, and he's one
Hmm.
of the most well known
Yeah. Yeah.
mobsters from the 20s and 30 eras.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a report of somebody hearing like a sound of a banjo in the showers there for as one of the hauntings that Al Capone played in the showers. Is what they said.
That's
I've
amazing.
heard that. I've heard that.
Yeah.
Imagine you're in the shower just
I
trying to
heard
wipe
that on a
yourself, and
pod.
I hear
It was
this
a
fucking
podcast actually. I
banjo.
heard that.
Did you? Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, I heard about it on the podcast. Yeah, I
I
didn't.
mean,
I didn't know that until I heard it, and that was maybe
I
a month,
mean,
a month or two ago.
Yeah,
a disembodied banjo, man. Come on, it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. And yeah, it was. Oh man, I gotta go re-listen to this because it was interesting. Like they talked for like 10 or 15 minutes just about that, the information they had.
on the banjo.
I gotta
Yeah.
go. I gotta go back and because there was a reason that he
Mm.
would have that going on,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then
Maybe
it stuck.
maybe to silence the real
Yeah, I think
the real
when he
rough
showered,
rap that's going on.
it would happen when he showered, and
Yeah.
yeah. But there's a whole story about that. I got to go back and
yeah,
listen to it because that, yeah, I remember that.
yeah. You'll have to send that to me too, because I'd like to check that out.
Hey, I always talk about them, and I tell people they got to go hometown hauntings.
So,
Yeah,
That's it. Just go to them.
yeah.
They have one of the best paranormal podcasts. Like period.
uh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm shouting them out. So if one of you three up there and from Massachusetts. I was gonna call them what they call themselves, but they don't know me, so I can't call them
Mathole.
that. But if you ever watch this, reach out to me because I've been spreading the word on these guys for a while. They're awesome.
He has. He really has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what? So are they? Is Alcatraz? Are they closing it? Are they closing it off to people now? Is it
No,
no longer
so
going to?
not the who knows if it's true or not because stuff gets thrown out all the time.
Right.
But there was something a few weeks ago, I think it was, where somebody wanted to open it back up as a prison, but the park services were saying that that's not going to work.
Wait. I
Yeah,
now remember where that was said. Yeah,
yeah,
correct.
yeah. I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to
No,
say it.
no, me
No,
neither
yeah,
either.
you're
Yeah,
good.
no.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
Yep.
not
just
going to go down that hole. But
I
yeah,
done
I
dumb
don't think
things
it's
in
going to
my
happen.
life, but that is perhaps the dumbest shit I will ever hear. I'm sorry, but we have so many prisons, but you want to invest billions of dollars into reinventing one from almost 100 fucking years ago.
So
No,
people probably figured it out now that somebody kind of went down the hole. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I am a
I'm
man
not.
of the people,
I'm not. I'm not going down that hole.
the dead people.
No, we're not.
No,
Uh,
no.
This is
My vote
this
is
is
no. My
this
vote
is
is no.
this is not the podcast to be talking about that stuff. Thank you.
Call me
Yeah.
Marilyn Manson because I'm
Yeah.
for the beautiful
Exactly.
people.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. Moving on.
Yes. Moving on.
Uh, what you got, Terry?
Are you done with Alcatraz?
Oh, no, you're right. I'm getting rid of myself. Well, the cool part about Alcatraz and investigations there are like, yeah, you got the disembodied shower banjo, but
Hmm.
like, I'm sure there are other things that people have experienced, especially in the cells,
Yeah.
especially where Al Capone stayed. But I've heard every jail that he was been to has some sort of paranormal thing going on with it.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
But it's a great spot, and it's definitely worth checking out.
I would love to go visit that and do an
Yeah.
investigation there.
I mean,
Absolutely.
even if you don't get paranormal things going, it's still a great piece of history, and I love it.
Yeah. 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 That's the thing about the investigations we do, man. Like I said, before, it's about learning about the history of these places and going and seeing these things and experiencing it, firsthand. So
Yeah, exactly. See
Yeah.
what they saw, feel what they felt,
yeah, exactly.
take a step in their shoes, give or take, not doing it for 20, 30 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Terry, now I'm done. Your turn.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. I got the first place I got. Sure, you guys have heard of it. Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary.
Yeah, Brushy Mountain. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Um, it was called the End of the Line.
Yeah.
That's what it's called. Operations from 1896 to 2009, which I found it amazing. It went till 2009.
Yeah. That's
Um,
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, their most famous inmate was James Earl Ray, who murdered Martin Luther King,
Hmm.
which I did not know. He actually escaped for 58 hours with six other inmates.
Damn,
He
dude.
made it 8.5 miles, and he died there in '98. And some people say he never left. So maybe old James is still haunting the place. Don't know,
Maybe we
but
could get answers.
so it's people reported screams and a clanging noise. They think could be Ray. Um, wanting to escape or just hitting the bars. Um, they said these noises could be caused by those who hung themselves, those that were severely beaten, or I did not know this either. A prisoner who was chopped up and flushed down the toilet. What?
What?
Yeah, I did
Wait.
not know that until I started looking at this place,
Excuse
and
me.
I was like, wow.
Come again. Chopped up. Oh my god.
Yeah,
And
chopped up,
flushed down
flushed down the toilet. if that
How is
guy
that even
isn't haunting that place,
possible?
if that guy isn't haunting some section of this building,
That guy is definitely haunting that building.
yeah, he's
Possibly
one pissed off individual.
and the toilet too. He's definitely haunting that toilet.
Where's
Absolutely.
he?
Yeah.
Where's he haunting though? Oh,
I
there,
I didn't
a
see
bit everywhere.
yeah, I didn't see where. But yeah, that was when I saw that I was like, wow, man, that
That
is
is
just total
brutal.
brutality. They said there was an average of one murder per week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did they
Um,
ever
you
say?
can there's ghost tours there. There's overnight stays you can do.
Yeah.
But they said the standard paranormal tour is $480, 6-person max,
That's not bad.
and an overnight investigation, 12-person max is $1,500. So
That's
you
not
better
bad
come with
either.
people if you want to hang out in this place. But
Yeah.
I mean, if you got that many people, it would probably be worth it. One, you didn't have to pay as much, but two, a dude got chopped up and flushed down the toilet.
Did they say
Yeah.
what he did to get chopped up?
No, all I saw, I didn't go too deep into anything. I stopped right when I saw it, but chopped up, flushed down the toilet. I don't care what he did. That sucks.
Yeah.
And that dude, if there's no, if old Jimmy James ain't there, that dude's definitely there. And then I
Yeah.
didn't get a name for the guy either. So my apologies for everybody that sees this on that. But if you see this and you know more about that, please let us know on our Facebook page. Hit us up when this comes out and educate us on this individual if you know, because that is interesting to me, and it is one of the most brutal things I've ever read about somebody's death.
Yeah. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
I did see when I think Project Fear was there, an episode of Project Fear there at the Brushy State Penitentiary, Brushy Mountain, and that was a pretty good episode they did too, man. They got a lot of really good evidence from out of there. So I would love to go there actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another spot.
That one caught my eye right away. I was like, holy crap. And I had no idea that James Earl Jones was there and escaped.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't know that. And I definitely didn't know about old Choppy. But yeah, that sucks.
That's terrible. Oh,
That sucks.
Sorry.
Free Choppy.
oh,
Choppy's already free in the afterlife, but
Yeah.
oh my
Yeah. Oh
god.
yeah.
uh,
Could you imagine if he had to relive that every day?
That's terrible.
yeah, I wouldn't want to relive that every day.
Yeah. I'd be like, please somebody come here and help me get out of this.
Well, that's the thing. Well, wait a minute though, because do we feel in the afterlife? Do
Um,
we do we
I
relive
would
that?
I would
I
think
mean, I don't know. I don't know for a
so.
fact, but a lot of people talk about how they've met sad spirits,
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
and
it,
some do know how they died, and
yeah.
I don't
they
know if
just
Choppy knows, but
on.
you know,
Choppy. Is that like
that's
that's the real name
that's
of it?
that's that's my name for him because I have
Okay,
no idea
that's
who
your
his
name.
name is,
I was
and
okay, Choppy.
the poor guy got chopped up. So yeah,
Okay,
he's
I'm.
not El Chapo. He's not El Chapo. He's just Choppy.
Oh, to-do.
That that's
Thank you,
terrible.
ladies and gentlemen. We'll be here all week. Yes.
Yeah. Hey, I'm spinning him up so when we get there, maybe we'll meet him and we can help him
Uh-huh.
on the way because
Yeah.
dude, if he's stuck there, I would love to help him get out of
Yeah.
there because especially if the poor guy is reliving that.
Yeah.
God, man, for eternity.
Apparently,
Stay tuned for Paranormal Musings guy gets chopped up at Brushy State Penitentiary.
Yeah.
well, I'm just reading a thing from Brushy Mountain. Apparently, there's a inmate named Jack Jet who they actually found out he was snitching and
He was what?
snitching. He's a rat.
Oh,
Stabbed him 19 times in the neck when he was on the phone with his mother.
Oh my god.
his poor mom. Damn.
Yeah,
Yeah. See, and that was part of the, what I was referring to earlier as the proverbial shit that goes on in these
Yeah.
penitentiaries and jails, man.
It has.
Don't want to be a rat. Don't want to be a rat.
Uh, so apparently, there's over 100 executions performed on site.
Wow.
Wow. It's a lot of death there.
Yeah, I
Definitely.
was gonna say
Yeah.
a lot of death. A lot of
Yeah.
death.
Yeah.
Damn.
Um, talking about James Earl Ray. Um, a lot of gang stuff. A 25 caliber pistol was smuggled inside, and it was used in a shooting of several people.
Hmm.
2 victims died from the gunshot wounds, and there was plenty of others.
Yeah. So a lot of death in there for sure, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
James Earl Ray himself was stabbed prior
Shit.
to that incident. You just read his history; it gets worse as the more you read it.
And they stayed open till 09.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
2009. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Rich, this might sound familiar to you. Apparently, there was an altercation in the auditorium during a movie, and inmate had his throat cut with a Hitman prison knife. It's called the Crawler.
Ah, the crawler, yes.
Doesn't that sound familiar?
Yeah. Where does that? Where have I heard that before?
Oh, there's a spirit named James. If you leave a cigarette on the bars of the cell, he'll take drags from it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
I think I did see that on Project Fear. I think they brought him a cigarette, and I could be wrong, and I apologize to them if I'm getting this wrong. But somebody did do that on one of their episodes. Somebody
Yeah.
brought a cigarette for him. Yeah.
and his flashlight off, leaving the lit cigarette visible in the frame.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I can't find anything about old Choppy.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm doing it again.
I'm gonna like try to research. I'd like to know this poor guy's real name. Right now he's Choppy.
Yeah.
That boy turned into gumbo.
Oh my Terry.
What's going in there? Yep, everything. What is in there?
That's very uncouth of you.
Yeah.
He turned into gumbo.
Gumbo in the toilet bowl.
Yeah.
Lord,
Mm,
that's
That poor
absolutely.
dude, man.
Prison gumbo.
So you guys got any other places?
I hadn't really planned anything out for that. No.
I got some more. I can like tell you what's up, and you guys can, if you heard about it, talk about it and
Yeah.
look it up.
Go right ahead, brother. Go right ahead.
You may have heard of this one, the old Idaho State Penitentiary in Boise, Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Opened in the 1870s, closed in 1973. Began as a one-cell house before growing into what it was. It housed over 13,000 criminals, some the most dangerous in the state, Idaho, forced to mine the rock quarries to build the walls of their prison.
Wow.
Man, yeah. So they were getting the sandstone, which drew in the heat because it would hold that heat. And when it was cold, well, so I guess diseases spread easily. No proper plumbing, poor ventilation. You had riots, fires, deaths. 110 people died from
Ooh.
illness, old age, executions, and murders. The gallows were set up in the Rose Garden. Um,
Oh, how nice.
yeah, and they think some spirits remain there. Uh, they said they saw a male spirit dressed in gardening clothes walking through the garden. You feel cold spots when it's warm with no wind. It's a museum now. Um, People report feeling dread, anxiety, sadness, being touched, hearing whispers, seeing flickering lights. Um, Anybody ever heard of murderer Raymond Allen Snowden? You ever heard of
Yes.
him? Yeah, that's where he was executed.
Oh wow.
um, yeah. Uh, there's a guy named Douglas Van Vlack who killed himself. he shows his presence in a place called the Five House.
Yeah.
And he kills batteries and he causes a green light to be seen, I guess.
Huh.
You can visit it 7 days a week, 12 to 5. Um, there's a guided tour. So I don't believe, nothing I've seen that I've gotten too deep into. I'm sure that with some talking and all that, people can get in there to do an investigation, you know, for a
Yeah.
Yeah.
price.
Yeah.
Hey,
But yeah, interesting place. If you guys want to talk about it,
yeah. Yeah. I think places that house people who are convicted murderers like that, I think them knowing that they're gonna die kind of rubs off the aura into the walls because there's anger, there's sadness, there's fear, and then they accept it. So
Yeah.
it's just like
yeah.
Yeah.
while
That
you're
The
would,
while you're,
museum. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
while you're serving your time, you just battle every stage of grief until you accept that you did what you did, and now you must pay your uh,
penance.
yes, thank you, pay your penance to
Yeah.
the Lord.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rich.
Yeah. No worries. Anytime, buddy. Do you think that would, that would go back to the whole stone tape theory? You know what I mean? That the walls house
I
the
Yeah,
information.
I,
Yeah.
I definitely wanted to say something about the sandstone because I totally believe in that.
Yeah.
Um, you can leave something. I mean, why not?
Hmm.
well, we
And
think
then
it's in.
how they built the walls, they were building their walls, which okay, that's number one. You're building your prison that you're gonna die in probably. Number two, in the summers, what you're building is boiling you.
Yeah,
It's just drawing in the heat. And in the winter, what you're building is just freezing you out.
Yeah.
It was just straight misery, and you were gonna die behind those walls that you
Yeah.
built.
sweat, blood, and tears
Yeah.
Mm.
all mixed in one building.
Yeah. I mean, how would you like
Mus-
to know that you're building your coffin per se? You know what I
yeah,
mean?
Well,
yeah.
that
Your
that's
death box.
actually
You're building your death box.
that's actually the best part about that. They knew how to psyop the prisoners. Like, would you like they still do it sometimes? They make people dig their own graves. All those feelings going through your head, knowing that you're gonna die behind these walls. Oh man, I could never.
No, man.
The museum is there. People who work there or people who visit. Stuff happens.
This stuff happens.
Yeah, you can go to the museum and just hang out. The museum part of it, and there's activity apparently that people have felt, maybe seen. I don't know, staff and
Yeah.
and visitors.
Yeah, haunting doesn't stay to one part of the building; it's the whole place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine the whole damn place.
There's
They
blood
probably
out.
they probably
I'm sure.
you probably get some that congregate at that museum part because there's
I'm, I'm pretty sure it has something to do with blood being spilled in that particular area, but that's just me. I could be wrong. I could be right.
yeah. I imagine you got some inmates, or I mean, you could have staff that work there. They may not died
Yeah,
there. They left a mark. It was a big part of their lives.
Yeah.
You got people coming in and out, interacting, and they're curious and they want to see what's going on, and that could cause activity. So
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. That's pretty much it,
I think
man.
it's a whole gamut of
Yeah,
what happened there, and then like curiosity, like who are these people? What are they wearing? Like what is going on?
that's like the most
What are they
significant part
doing here?
about jails and prisons. The walls talk.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. If only we knew what they were saying.
yeah. Walls and
That's true,
trees.
buddy. Yeah.
Walls and trees.
Hmm.
They all talk.
Yeah,
All right, if you guys want to do one more, we got
Yeah.
a bunch.
yeah.
Okay, so
What
we
you
just
got, T? What do
Missouri.
we got?
You know what?
Um,
Because
so
we,
so here we go. If we do one more, I have Ohio, two places in Ohio. I have West Virginia,
Yeah.
You probably know which one that is.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, Wyoming, which I'm leaning towards because I don't know much about Wyoming. I don't know if you guys do. There is one it's a famous one. It's in Council Bluffs, Iowa. If you know what I'm talking about. We got Indiana, we got Chicago, and we got Arizona.
Let's do it.
State
Let's
you
do
want to go?
Arizona.
My vote's
No.
Wyoming.
You're Wyoming. All right.
Yeah,
Well, since Terry did all the research to find these jails, I think we should let him pick the jail.
I second Wyoming.
Yeah, me too.
All right, all right. So may have heard of this. I don't know. Wyoming Territorial Prison in Laramie, Wyoming. Anybody ever heard of that?
Can't say that I have.
Yeah, okay, sure
I
have it,
I
buddy.
I didn't either until I looked this up. It was built in 1872 to address the increase in crime. Um, Also, because we had the railroad's western expansion, so of course you had crime with that going on. Anytime you do anything like that, you're going to have some type of crime. You know, people getting murdered, robbed, and all that. So they built that. Said from the start they thought it was cursed. There was a fire in 1873, so a year after it was built. Several escapes. Um, the first 2 years of operation, 11 out of 44 inmates escaped.
Oh shit.
By 1877, it was overcrowded. Then they built another cell block. It was a state prison from 1890 to 1901, and they also had female inmates and solitary confinement. Um, this is pretty cool. Butch Cassidy, you guys heard of him, right?
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
Served 2 years in 1894 to 1897.
Hmm.
They closed in 03, 1903.
I thought you were going to
Um,
say 2003. I was like,
That's
oh.
a
yeah, I was about to say
Yeah.
03, and then I changed it. I was like, no, 1903. It closed. The University of Wyoming took it over, and that's where they did livestock breeding experiments through 1989.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, some of this beef we're eating probably came from this place.
I don't like the
Hauntings.
term experimenting.
The stories of the hauntings didn't start until 1991 when that's when they opened it to the public, as a historic site.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They said one of the ghosts is Julius Greenwald, convicted of murdering his wife in 1897.
Holy shit.
While he was in jail, he was making and selling cigars. So I'm sure they all enjoyed Julius.
Yeah.
He was on
Yeah.
the third floor, but when they did renovations, of course, he got moved out of there. But everybody smells a phantom cigar smell,
Yeah.
which they think is coming from his angry spirit, which I can only imagine he's probably angry, not just because he's in jail, but he was up on the third floor, he was living life, inmates liked him, and you moved him out.
I just thought he's living
uh,
life in the high life in jail.
they're saying so this place is open year round. You want to do tours? It's pretty cheap, 9 for adults, 450 for youth. You get public guided tours from June through September. Um, they offer on select days in October public ghost hunts, and they say you have to book in advance.
I believe it.
I mean,
So
if that's the only month they're doing, I would imagine so. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely looking at
so
that.
that was just interesting because to me, I'd never heard of the place. I've
Yeah,
heard of
no,
Laramie,
And I,
but I've
yeah,
never heard of
you
that
know,
place.
when you think of
So,
Wyoming, you don't think of much. That's the
yeah,
thing.
and then with
That's
the railroad going through there, I'm
yeah,
pretty sure there was many murders.
yeah,
that was the thing back then, wasn't it? Like when they,
Yeah,
yeah.
everybody would rob the
But,
train cars and all that, stop the
well,
trains, and
it's not even
yeah,
just that. It's also the fact that conflicts with natives too was a big
yeah,
thing back then.
hmm hmm
yeah,
So you have that. You have workers being killed while they're trying to do the railroad.
and
You
then
got
and then how
robbery,
the workers who built it, how they were treated.
yeah.
like shit.
Yeah,
Well,
so
was
it's probably a nightmare there, man.
is, that,
Yeah,
is, is that
They built that jail. They built the jails like we got to house some people because they're nuts.
Is that our next podcast on the? Join us on our next podcast for haunted railroads.
They're all out west.
Yeah, in Wyoming.
Dang it, Rich! You derailed my train of thought.
Oh,
Oh man, yeah, that's wild
Jeez.
though.
yeah.
But yeah, that's Laramie.
Laramie, Wyoming.
I think that's
Seems
really
like
crazy.
a pretty non-friendly place.
Let's go.
I
Yeah.
second that.
Yeah,
Like,
let's
I
go.
mean, at least one person was having a good time until they moved him out the third floor. You know, he's selling cigars and stuff, and I'm sure he was
now it's
treated
just
a little
now it's
differently
just
than the
like
other. Yeah,
Yeah. We're
take
gonna
that
have.
mortal.
Yeah. If we do ever do a paranormal tour there, just remember to bring a cigar.
yes,
A
I
little,
got
Yes.
plenty.
a
Let's bring
little,
him up. Let's bring him up black and mild.
little trigger object.
Black and mild. Ugh.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
I will bring real cigars because they were smoking real cigars back then,
Yeah.
not
You
black
gotta
and
bring.
milds.
You gotta bring that Cohiba, man. The Cohiba.
Yeah, bring him a good stick.
That's it.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I need to smoke a cigar soon. Not tonight, but
Yeah.
I haven't had one in a little bit.
Yeah. I
Go
mean,
ahead.
Love them.
Smoke
Love 'em.
one. Be a man.
No, no. My man ass has to get up early.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Gotta pay those bills.
We can't all be bumming around in our beds all day.
Yeah. Dang it, man.
Well,
Why
if you
not?
are, it's nice. That's nice.
No, it's not.
Need
Yeah.
to make. Wish I could make
Oh,
money
I
at
work.
work now.
I work so I don't have to sit in bed all day.
Oh wait, I do. I do
Ah,
have.
you said you do.
I do. I do that.
I do. He
Well,
called he called the shit poop.
Oh my god.
while we have a little time left, let's talk about a local one that most of us know about, Jasper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because why not?
Yep.
It
I've
was,
been there.
yeah, that one was actually one of the last ones built to mirror a couple in Mississippi, and it was built early on in like 18 something, but it has what, 3 or 4 executions on site from what's in the display case. 3, 4 public hangings.
Right outside to the right if you're facing the building.
Yeah, I'm trying
That's
to
right.
remember if it was 3 or 4.
Yeah, right outside to the right, they had the gallows. That's where they would hang them.
Yeah, there's those guys that still haunt the place,
Mm-hmm.
supposedly. There was a woman and her baby who had actually killed her husband. She was jailed up for a little bit, but they released her and told her just to leave town, and nobody knows where she went after.
Yeah.
I remember that.
There's also a suicide in the women's cell as well. It like most of the older places, a lot of the documents are lost upon time, so it's not easy to ascertain information to these places, which sucks because if we have an insight to it, we can try and talk to them and get an answer of like what actually happened.
Yeah, you could go prepared. Yeah, absolutely.
And the whole thing that sucks about Jasper is it's so nice, but as soon as you walk through those doors, and Terry can attest, you feel it in your chest. It is high energy. It's like bad.
Very active place. At least when I was there, it was a very active place.
We were there for 48 hours, and there wasn't 1 minute that we didn't experience something. either
Wow.
Actually, had
talk.
something tug my shirt. I had something tug my shirt while we were
Wow.
watching footage. We were watching
Yeah,
footage,
yeah,
and I may have said a bad word to them when they did it
yeah.
to let them know
Um,
not the time.
and
Go back upstairs to your cell. There's
it's
probably a little kid, one of the little
uh,
girls. You know,
yeah, actually, the warden's daughter, I believe, is the one who haunts because Tara and I were having a conversation with her upstairs in her room that she shared with all the dolls. That room was weird.
and there's the noose. Remember too upstairs.
Yeah, but
They
nobody
started.
knows if that noose was ever used. That's
No,
the
it
thing.
has never been. It's never been used. That noose was built, and then they abolished the executions, so it was never
Yeah,
used.
It was
It
never
was never
used.
used
yeah,
inside. The executions all happen outside.
yeah. There's pictures and a
Never.
display case over by
Yeah.
Solitary that showed the gallows outside, right in
Yeah.
front of the women's cell,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that,
That thing was never used for a hanging
yeah,
inside that house.
yeah,
Could have been one of the nooses from outside put in there, but
yeah.
it was never used. Nobody got hung
It
in the house from everything
it's
I've seen.
it is a very active jail. You could definitely feel emotions run high upstairs at certain times. Women's, you definitely feel energy. I remember Kara, who is our team parasensitive. Um, she was wigging out really bad because she's feeling two different entities. There's she believes it's the lady that killed herself, and then there's like a big dark energy that I had actually seen with my two eyes because I was told to provoke something, and you remember that, Terry. There is something right across that back door when you walk into women's. There's a tall black shadow. I was all like, no. And that proves that things that go on in the past linger on to hundreds of years. It doesn't matter. You've dropped drop of blood, sweat, tears. Experienced terrible things there. You're going to be trapped in that building.
I'd
You
like
know,
to get into the history of the screams, the woman's screams, were
I,
coming from they were coming from upstairs. And that's where all the
upstairs.
men were housed. So
Yeah,
if something happened to a woman up there, because there's
I
screams that were
Yeah.
I
coming from upstairs.
I'm I'm going to
We
be very honest
heard them
with
with
you
our
guys.
ears, and I
I
have
have
faint scream on the phasm that was upstairs, and I don't know if you caught anything. Yeah,
my camera was
yeah,
rolling.
yeah. We
Um,
there was like straight up screaming. It was weird.
Wow.
It
That's
I
awesome.
actually I actually
was 2 in the
still have
morning. 2 in the morning.
night
I heard it.
I actually still have nightmares about it. I'll have dreams where I'm laying in that cell and I hear it.
Really? Wow, man.
Yeah, that's how bad it affected me because I was scared shitless.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
You
place.
were you in there all by yourself at the point in time,
I
or
was
yeah?
I was in the whole jail by myself.
Wow.
We all came back in once he was like, "Get in here," and we got in there, and then we heard the scream.
Wow.
Well, the whole thing is Terry was bundled up in his blanket, so I kind of assumed he was sleeping in the master bedroom. No, he was sleeping in his car. So
Yeah,
I heard that. I went to go get Terry. Saw Terry wasn't there. I run out that door. I start knocking on the windows. I'm freaking the shit out
Running
because
around.
like you
they
don't
Get in
freaked
know.
him
here!
out.
Get in here! Get in here now!
I'm like, did I take my meds? Am I imagining this? Is this shit real? And then
Yeah,
they heard it.
yeah, it
I was
scared him because I was half in the bag sleeping, and then I
Yeah.
heard the doors opening, shutting. I'm like, "What is going on?" Because I missed his phone call, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh," and I get out and like, "Yeah, Cordell, something's going on."
I was like, I
Good.
was almost to fucking tears. That's how scared I
Yeah,
was.
Wow, man, that's crazy.
we go in there, and I think it took like 10 or 15 minutes talking
It took
to you, and then all
a
of a
good
sudden,
amount of time because
just
they didn't believe
scream,
me.
just scream. Yeah.
They
Huh.
didn't believe me. They
Are you
thought I was
sure you heard it?
imagining it. I'm like, I don't lie about things I experience. I'm just like,
I
I
thought you
fucking
were
heard that.
I thought you were asleep and dreaming. That's what I thought.
Well, the
I was
worst
like,
part of
did he dream this? And then it
you know what the
came
worst
down the stairs, and it was like, okay,
the more I think
there she
about
is.
that night, the more I think about that night, the more details I can remember. And the fucked up part is there were footsteps right where I was laying. And I had mentioned it, and then the screaming started. I could not.
Yeah.
It's like
I just like I'm like having like envisioning myself in a dark jail that's vacated by no one but myself and hearing a scream on the second floor. Yeah, I would say I would probably be scared
And
shitless there, man.
he didn't just hear a scream; you heard multiple screams, and it sounded like it was coming down the stairs.
I
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
didn't actually run out till it
yeah,
got to the doorway of where I was laying.
Oh my god.
yeah. When we heard
Yeah.
it, it was from upstairs. When the rest of us, when we came in, it was upstairs.
He
Oh
heard it at
god.
the door. Oh my god.
Yeah,
All right,
wow.
I'm gonna schedule my trip there right now. Hold
Yeah,
on.
definitely worth it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, definitely.
the place was it was definitely active. It was definitely
Yeah,
active.
it's one of
And
the
we had
most active spots.
the coyote outside, man, out in the woods just going nuts.
Yeah.
It's like this when I first heard it, I was
Um,
like, "What the hell is that?" I'm in my car. And this coyote was just losing it in the woods.
Hmm.
the dogs
Dogs would
really
go
do
off.
it
The
too.
dogs, this neighbor's dogs would just randomly just go ballistic. And it's just like the energy in that place is just like, goodness, man.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a good time. Good time.
Yeah, I definitely plan on visiting that place very
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I highly suggest it.
yeah,
Um, when you guys go, just bring like a pack of cigarettes or something as a trigger
trigger.
object,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Yeah, the book. Open the book
yeah,
and read. People
read
put
that
in
book.
what work
Yeah,
for them. Yeah. They put in what worked
music,
for them. Yeah.
music. Um,
Mhm.
Billie Holiday worked when I was doing it.
Mhm.
A lot of that early 20s, 30s, 50s stuff.
Mhm.
It works great. They love it. Um, the cigarettes as an object, and absolutely no men in the women's cell. They hate men.
Wow.
And that's where he decided to sleep.
I was delegated to sleep there
Oh lordy.
And then you have the segregation cell.
upstairs.
You got to go sit in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It didn't
heavy.
work for me. It didn't work for me, but
I didn't
it
think
should
it
work for
worked
you.
for
Should
other
work for
places
you.
either.
So go sit in that cell.
Yeah.
You might
All
feel
right.
you might feel
Re-
something.
I
remember when
will.
Oh,
uh,
and
um
the hospital cell.
the med bay? Yeah.
Yeah, the med bay. Yeah, that one too.
Um,
Yeah.
I didn't really get much with Medbay, but I remember when you and Austin were like running around the top because you guys were like following an orb or some shit,
No, no orb. I don't follow orbs.
or
No. There
you
was
were
noise.
following
It was
noise.
walking. It was
Yeah.
walking. You could hear
So
walking, and it was like it was running me in circles. I went one way,
they go
and
the other.
Austin came the other way, and then I think I turned towards you. You were on the other end, and I'm like,
Yeah. It
where to
box.
go? And then
It box.
you hear it again. You hear it again, and you're just going in circles trying to
Well,
catch it.
it's funny because when they were doing that, there's a little peephole coming out of Medbay pointing towards the stairs and trunk tank. I had actually caught an orb. It was an orb. We can all agree. It goes up the stairs, comes up from the bottom of the stairs, and whenever my camera's moving, it's moving. So it's definitely interactive. It's not a piece of dust. It's not a bug because it's dark. I'm using IR. This thing moves and then it goes towards segregation where those two are. So it was weird.
I don't think it was a bug either. But I will say, in case people see this, that using IR, you're going to see those things.
Yeah.
You're going to see them. I don't think it was a bug. I don't think it was a bug.
I know what a bug looks like in IR.
I'm not gonna say it was a spirit.
Yeah.
I did not think it was a bug. It did not look
Um,
like anything bugs look like in it.
yeah, just
Um,
when you're upstairs,
Yeah.
Don't talk. Don't talk. Don't move. Listen.
Just listen. Yeah.
Just listen. Just
Yeah,
listen.
because
You'll hear some stuff. Just listen.
I was
Yeah.
upstairs by myself for what 45 minutes the second night, and I was blindfolded, and you can hear walking all across,
Wow.
and like jail cells opening and closing. It shit's nuts.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely, like I said, I definitely plan on visiting that place here very, very soon, in the very near future.
Yeah.
It's a great destination, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
Highly recommend.
yeah, yeah.
Oh man, we've run over an hour. Look at us.
Yeah, an hour and 5 minutes.
Yeah. All right, boys.
Yeah.
That's all I got for tonight.
So I
Yeah,
got to.
me
Um,
too, buddy.
working on another episode with one of our Facebook friends, Leo Paranormal.
Yeah.
Try to get that done by Sunday,
Yeah. It's gonna be a
and
good episode.
have him come on and talk about what he's into, what he does, and what his experience. Should be fun. So hopefully that
Yeah.
works out.
Yeah.
Just got to get our
Yes, sir.
timing down because he's down to do it. We just got to get our timing down. So
I'll
some
talk
time.
it. I'll message him later.
Yeah,
If not. All
yeah,
right,
we'll get it
boys.
down. We'll get him in, and then I got a few other people teams to get on. One we got to get in soon is NSPS. We got to get Terry
Oh
in.
yes, I would love to have Terry here.
Yeah, we got it. He's podcasting again.
Yeah, I
He
saw
stopped for a
that.
while for some personal reasons. I'm not gonna put out there. I know what they are.
Yeah,
If people watch something a long time ago, they'll know what it is. But I'm not gonna put it out there. I'll let him do that. But I did see that he's got videos out again, so I'm gonna reach out to him and see if he wants to come on. I'm sure he will. Great dude,
yeah, yeah.
out in Texas.
Terry's
Uh,
awesome. Highly
he's
recommend
got
his channel.
he's got some friends out here. I think up in North Florida, North Central Florida, something like that. He's got a couple folks he knows that he's friends with, and no, he's a good dude. He's a good
Yeah.
dude. So
All right,
um,
guys.
see if we can get him on after Leo,
Out back.
and then
Yeah,
yeah, some other stuff coming, and maybe some special stuff, and as the wheels in my head turn. Um, but yeah,
so
Let's do it.
that just means you all have to stay tuned and come back for the next
That-
installment.
yep,
That's
yep,
right. That's right. And stay tuned for our follow up on our visit to the Baker County Jail that we're all going to be doing.
absolutely,
And
absolutely.
maybe we can have some clips of some video or
Mhm.
some audio or something.
Yeah,
Yep,
Yeah, yeah.
for the people.
For the
For the-
people
for the dead people.
and for the dead people. Yes.
Live or unalive.
I
You
can
were.
bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold.
You said a cult.
I
Cold.
said cold.
Yeah.
Anywho,
All right.
Yeah. So yeah.
thank you guys for tuning in to this week's episode of the Paranormal Musings podcast. I would like to thank Terry once again for creating this. I would like to thank Rich for being here.
Thank you, sir.
I'm not going to say anything about myself because it's weird. So I hope you all have a very spooky night, and we will catch you guys on the next one.
All right. Sounds
Cool.
like a plan. All right, guys.
Awesome. Happy haunting, fam.
Another fun one.
Haunting.
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah.
Later.
Deuces.